Hello, and welcome to the Yarn Reader podcast. My name is Samantha. In this video, it's not an actual podcast episode, it is just going to be me and my husband doing the Fiber Friends tag. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next podcast episode.
How?
You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Jordan.
And who are you?
Your husband. This is an intervention?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're doing the Fiber Friends tag. There's, let's see, 32 questions. All of them can be answered pretty quickly. So
Okay, yeah.
the first one is how we met and our relationship history.
Well, met on a music website called Django, looking for a couple of Flyleaf songs, because liked the band a whole lot back then, still do. And unbeknownst to me, I did not realize that that was actually a Christian band, which was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd scrolling through, listen to music, and go, oh, she's kind of pretty. Let me say hi.
And Django just kind of set up like Pandora and Facebook smashed together.
Yeah, I've been able to have friends and send messages, but it's been updated where you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. We're old. Not really, but
I still want to Zoom. Does that make me old?
maybe.
I like Zooms.
It actually took me a minute to remember what that was.
Oh, now I feel old.
Okay. Was I a knitter when we met?
In training.
In training? Yeah.
In training.
Yeah, I wasn't really knitting too much in high school. I picked it up like on and off because we met when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite thing I've knit for you?
Oh, shit. That's a hard one. Favorite or coolest?
Favorite?
Favorite?
Well, technically it's kind of one and the same, depending on if it's, I don't know, you can say favorite and then coolest.
That's actually a really hard one, because, I mean, everything that you've knitted for me I extremely like. But I have to say my favorite is... I forgot the name of the pattern for the hat.
Yeah, I made you mini hats, so
you
have to elaborate on that.
Probably the coolest one that I do like, the coolest one that I have that I actually really like is the old kind of flight helmet or bicycle helmet one.
I know what you're talking about.
Let
me pull up Ravelry. I have Ravelry pulled up.
It's like an old football helmet look style.
The 1898 hat.
Yeah. I can... Okay, actually, I look at it more now, and it looks more like a very early 1900s British soccer hat.
On the Ravelry page,
or football.
It's by Christine Burns. In the description, it says the construction of this hat was inspired by the one pictured in a magazine published around 1910.
Okay, so again, early 1900s. That's probably the coolest one that I have that I use periodically. Yeah, I can't remember the other great one that I have.
The antler.
It's got all the cables. Yes, the antler hat.
The one that I've made like every size in
Yeah,
recently. We have matching hats now, and then whenever we have kids, they have matching ones to go with us. So
yeah, that one's probably the favorite one that I have that you've made.
I knit that pattern enough that I can probably knit it in my sleep if I wanted to.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing that I've knit in general? Do I have to bring up my Ravelry page for you to scroll through?
Maybe.
Not including the ones that are...
Yeah, well, okay, well, it's a toss-up between the Time Turner mitts and the owl sweater that you made. Not the owls,
Well, I think it goes by 2 different names. I think it's like the owl sweater, but I think in the magazine it's the Jenny cardigan.
Yeah, the most recent one that you finished.
The one with the lace panel on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Jenny cardigan from the unofficial Harry Potter knits.
It's an extreme toss-up between those two.
I actually have... I'm prepared! This one! This one.
That's probably my favorite. Well, that and the Time Turner mitts.
Yeah, I think the Time Turner mitts is my favorite, like, one that be photographed. The way that it's set up.
Yeah.
Because...
That actually turned out
Okay, we stopped on what your favorite thing in it in general is, and you said that Time Turner mitts in the Jenny/Owl cardigan.
Yes.
And what the camera didn't get was, does it annoy you when I knit in public?
And I had a very good answer for that, too.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the same.
Technology!
It's amazing! But, no, but in a nutshell, what my response was is not at all. I absolutely love it because you don't see many people doing it anymore, and whenever someone crawls crocheting, knitting, I think it's kind of cool that I can understand that and know what the difference is and know the different techniques that it uses to do that, even though I can't really use those techniques. I know they're different. I can understand that they're different, but
you can help educate people.
Yeah, I can help educate people. But no, I love it. I mean, I love seeing you do it.
Question number 6 doesn't pertain to us. It's asking, what is your favorite fiber festival you've been to? We live in Florida. There's not really many fiber festivals around here, unless you're in Central Florida. There's one at Disney. Like Disney and I think Tampa maybe have a couple of them, but yeah, we're in the Panhandle. There's nothing like that around here.
No.
So
we have car meets, swap meets, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Number 7, do you hate it when I drag you to yarn stores?
I had another very good answer for that one too. No, the first time I went, it was pretty interesting, and I liked it. Then the second time, a couple times after, it was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was kind of like, I really don't see the point of me coming to these. But now, I mean, I do like to go more because I can actually understand the difference between each yarns and everything like that, and like the quality of it and the different material that it has in it. So it's kind of I have more of an understanding of it. So I do like going and seeing the different types that are there.
Well, you also have to think too, due to our area, really the only yarn stores we have is Joann's, Michael's, and Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
That's more craft stores. The only yarn store that you've been in with me is when we were at Roxy's Yarns in Tampa. Unfortunately, they had closed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That was.
I think we've been in a couple other yarns. No, there was one that was in Camden that we went into.
That was the Quilting Bee. It wasn't an actual yarn store. It was more of a quilt shop that happened to have a couple of balls of yarn in it.
We still had some yarn.
It was specialty in quilting, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. What is the coolest thing you learned about knitting?
This is where we realized the camera stopped.
Yeah.
Probably the coolest thing is cabling. I mean, even though sometimes you hate having to do it when you have to rip out, but
yeah,
I think the coolest part of it is the cabling, because there's just by adding another needle and doing a certain movement with it, you can make so many different patterns just kind of come out and just pop.
Yeah.
Which that's probably the coolest thing that I...
Yeah, it does take a lot longer, and sometimes it can be a pain in the butt depending on how complicated the cable is, but it's probably my favorite thing, my favorite technique to do.
Yeah.
And then color work.
It can create a lot of illusions.
Yeah. Yeah. an illusion that I'm actually good at this.
Which you... Don't kid yourself, yeah.
Okay, have you ever wanted to learn how to knit? Before I actually taught you. I taught him how to knit a coffee cozy for his mom. Like, what, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Somewhere around there. But, no, not really. I think the reason in that is because I never really was really around anybody that would really knit or crochet. My mom cross-stitched a little bit here and there when I was younger, but not a whole lot. She mostly did sewing projects and stuff like that, so I kind of got into sewing, which led to why I wanted to make a Bugs Bunny pillow in middle school, which I have no idea where that's at now. I was actually quite proud of it.
Well, the episode that I just recorded today, I was talking about one of my spinning projects, that the bag, it's actually up there now, that you took over the sewing of that, and technically you sewed that one.
I did no such thing.
Yeah, you did. I was supposed to sew it, but then you're like, here, let me help you, and then you took over and started doing everything.
Some of it, yeah, true. I mean, I like the process of making something from nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what I like.
Does it bother you when I buy yarn and knitting things?
Does it bother you when I buy car parts?
It really depends on the situation, I guess.
Exactly. That's kind of how it is too. I mean, if nothing's going on and nothing really extravagant has to be done money wise, doesn't bother me at all.
I'm too frugal myself when it comes to stuff, so I've trained myself to the part where it's like I only buy for projects now. There happens to be like a skein that I see that like it's special, if like again if we're in Tampa and we happen to go to a yarn store and I want like souvenir yarn, it's usually planned to be for socks or something.
Yeah.
But I tend to buy for projects now.
Yeah.
What do you think about me podcasting?
I love it. I mean, it helps you kind of express yourself in a different way. I mean,
After my big long gap that I just had, because the last episode that I recorded was back in September.
yeah, which I mean, everybody that does podcasts, they're gonna take a break from time to time. They're not going to do it every single day for multiple years on years on years. I mean,
Too much editing for that.
Yeah, well, I mean that, but there's always going to be breaks, which it happens. I mean, I like it. I like that you do it though.
Do you know the different weights of yarn?
A little bit. I mean, again, going back to kind of car stuff, it kind of goes to the same thing with sheet metal. It's like 16 gauge, 20 gauge, which is a different thickness. Mm-hmm. So I kind of put it in that same realm in measurements where I kind of try to figure it out like that.
Can you name a few?
Pencil weight, lace weight.
Pencil weight?
Not pencil weight, no. Look, after I said it, I'm like, hold on, that ain't right.
There's pencil roving, but that's just a type of yarn. But
so I know types of yarn. No.
Lace weight. Well, there's one
that was the most recent one I can remember.
Well, there's kind of one somewhat lighter than lace weight, and it's, I think, like crochet cotton, like it's like thread or cobweb. Like,
yeah.
The one that I made my mom's shawl out of, it's, I think on Ravelry, it's listed as cobweb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so apparently I know lace weight. And pencil weight is not a thing. Someone make that.
What's the step up from that one? It's staring right in front of you in the yarn bowl.
That type of yarn? That type of weight?
It goes by 2 different names.
Oh, then I'm definitely not going to get it.
Fingering weight and sock yarn.
Oh, okay.
And then there's sport weight just a step up from that than DK weight, but double knitting.
Oh man, DK weight. Now I remember that one. Because every time you said DK weight, the first thing that comes to mind is Donkey Kong, aka Drift King from Fast and Furious Tokyo, or Tokyo Drift.
And then after that, there's worsted weight, which is a lot of the two sweaters I've made you is at a worsted weight.
Yeah.
And then Aran weight, which depending on where in the world you live, it kind of gets changed, like interspersed with worsted, and it's named after Aran jumpers and sweaters, things like that. But then there's bulky, super bulky, chunky.
Yeah. So my knowledge as far as yarn weights goes exactly as far as I thought it would. Not very far.
I don't know if you would have an answer for this one, but it's asking, do you have a favorite yarn dyer or yarn in general?
Probably the favorite yarn that I can think of is the one that you made the green sweater out of.
The Lion Brand Heartland.
Yeah, I really like the way that one, like the pattern came out with the color of the yarn and everything.
The heathered look to it.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite yarn, but
it's my favorite acrylic yarn, actually.
Yeah, well, being an acrylic yarn, it's kind of I really like it.
Yeah.
But
because you're picky when it comes to how scratchy some things are, so the safe bet is acrylic.
Yeah, well, it's like
not Red Heart Super Saver, because Red Heart Super Saver is too scratchy.
Yeah, it's like I'm very picky when it comes to scratchy yarn, but yet I have a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
What about a yarn dyer? Do you know any yarn dyers?
Nope. I don't know a single one.
Kind of figured.
Sadly.
How much do you think an average indie dyed skein of yarn cost? We've had this conversation.
An average what?
Indie dyed skein of yarn.
Indie dyed?
Yeah, like the fiber seed, bull and vine. The ones that I said that I want to buy that you tend to go on like a rant about how some of them are priced too high.
Yeah. How much do I think they cost?
Yeah, the average cost of one would be.
It depends on how many yards. I mean, how many yards are we talking about?
I think the average is like around 400.
400?
Like 420, something like that.
Okay, then it also does depend on the weight.
Well, sock yarn.
Sock
Most
yarn.
dyers tend to like do plain sock yarn.
Just okay. So we're talking about
nylon.
just a standard color, not a pattern, not a pattern color.
Well, with
that
hand dyeing, a lot of it is like you'll have variegated, and then there's ones like that. The fiber seed yarn that I had, that was like $32, I think, when we bought it, because the way that it's dyed.
Yeah,
and the high yardage for it too.
There's real no way to guess because there's so many different variables and different. I mean, different dyers will price their stuff at a different standard for what they believe it's at.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to pick, but it can go anywhere between $10 to $30 a skein. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's skeins out there that are way more expensive, but I mean, that's where I have to put it between 10 to 30, which is.
I think from what I've just seen whenever I'm like window shopping, it's like the average is around like 26 to 32, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I was in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit out in the outfield, but.
What yarn would you buy me if I asked?
The yarn you asked for.
Without me saying, hey, I want such and such.
Then I wouldn't have a very good idea of what to get you. I mean, I'd have to go into some of your websites and look to see what you have in your wish list to
like
get.
Etsy.
Yeah.
I tend to favorite everything on Etsy and share stuff on Facebook, so it's not that hard to find stuff for me.
Yeah.
I'm usually dropping hints pretty hard, and no one tends to listen or pick up those hints.
Incorrect.
Well, except for the anniversary present.
There's a couple other ones too.
I'm meaning like yarny wise.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Whichever one you ask for, though. I'm still gonna go with that answer.
How many balls of yarn do you think I could sneak into the house?
before I notice or without me noticing at all?
Before you notice.
Depending on what you're smuggling them in. Again, there's a lot of variables here.
I tend not to like sneak anything into the house without like letting you know that I'm buying something.
Yeah. Well,
so
if you did it without like saying, probably 5 or 6. That doesn't mean do it. I mean, one day I'm expecting you just to sneak in an animal.
Yeah, I've been tempted a few times. I almost came home with a couple of puppies.
Jump in someone's backyard. I found this dog on the side of the road.
Yeah. What goes through your mind when I take you to a yarn shop or fiber festival, or when I get yarn in the mail?
Usually I let you kind of go and look around, and you pick something up and go, ooh, that's nice. But especially whenever you get stuff in the mail, because I like to see what it looks like when it comes in, so I'm very...
It's like Christmas for the both of us.
Yeah.
I have to keep him away from opening my mail, so I get the pleasure of opening it.
Yeah.
I like opening stuff.
I know. Well, I let you open your stuff.
Sometimes.
And sometimes I let you open my stuff.
What do you want me to knit you?
I have not really thought about it. Really haven't thought about that.
Because I knit you sweaters, you just don't really wear the sweaters. I wear them more than you do because of how hot you tend to run. And we're in Florida, so...
Yeah, I run pretty warm, so it's kind of hard to... I hardly ever wear long sleeve shirts. If I'm wearing a jacket, I don't wear that long.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's 14 degrees outside. I'm either in shorts or a short sleeve shirt.
You know what's funny? Like when I heard this question when I got the questions from Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast, her husband is the same thing, Perry. He wears t-shirts and shorts. T-shirts and shorts like all year round.
So are t-shorts made out of tea bags?
Shut up. But yeah, that's like immediately it reminded me of you. Yeah. So I had a feeling that it was going to come up whenever I asked you the question.
Yeah. It brings a lot of bad jokes for teabag shorts.
Shut up. I'm trying to keep this at least like PG rated, thank you.
Between PG and 13.
Keep it PG.
Okay, it's PG-12.
What thing do you wear the most that I've knit you?
The angler hat.
Yeah, I would say so.
That is...
That one in the, like, 1898 hat,
yeah.
Or whatever I said that was. It's gonna bug me.
1892?
1898, I was right.
Okay. I stuck on 92.
What do you think of my stash? It's kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Which stash?
Really.
I'm kidding.
You're so funny. It's really like out of sight, out of mind. So
yeah, I mean, I really don't have a thought on it.
It's in the closet, right chair. Yes.
I am in the right chair. You're in the left chair. I know.
And I'm trying to be funny.
And I'm just a... Never mind.
How does knitting help me as a person?
That'd be more of a question to kind of ask yourself. I mean, if it's one that I had to answer and really think about it, I guess you could say it would help. It helps you stay focused, relieve a little bit of stress, and concentrate on something else if your mind's busy and wondering. So, I mean...
I know we've had this conversation quite a few times. I just feel like knitting just keeps my anxiety at bay sometimes.
Yeah, that's more of a question for you.
Yeah.
So... Sometimes
I feel like I kind of somewhat stall things out until like I really have a big meltdown.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like I don't know if it really helps a lot of the times, but I know like it keeps me busy.
It gives you somewhat of a release.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you're kind of angry or upset with something. Usually, me, I guess.
Well, if I'm like really upset, I tend not to pick up anything because I don't want to put that like I guess that energy into the project,
so
especially
you don't get too tight.
Well, that, but depending on if it's like a project that I'm making for a gift, I don't want those bad feelings knitted into the gift.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be made with anger or anything.
Yeah. It's like I don't want to pass those feelings off to the person who's getting the item.
Well,
Because at least that's just...
Yeah.
I know like a few other people, like a few other podcasters, they think the same way. But
Yeah,
it's just,
I understand that. I think of it as it kind of goes into... More or less goes into to the blankets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it in that kind of standpoint, then the blankets that we have, they have all kinds of emotions wrapped up in them: good, bad, sad, happy, laughter. I mean, there's
and some sickness probably.
Yeah, sickness. I mean, you won't get sick from them, but it just kind of, I don't know. It's my train of thought just kind of went out the window there.
So, like, all in all, that question is just more of a, like, really depends on how I
Yeah, that's
feel
more of a
it
self
is.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you explain me being a knitter or what I do to other people? Well, I don't think really any other, like, people in our life really know that I sometimes record.
Yeah, I mean,
I've only just really recently started posting about my blog on Facebook, my personal Facebook, so...
Yeah, I really never really get any questions about it either. I think I've gotten maybe 2 questions about the antler hat that I've worn. But it basically mostly goes where they go, "Oh, hey, where'd you get that hat?" And I go, "Oh, my wife made it." "Oh, she knitted it?" I go, "No, she crocheted it?" I go, "No, she knitted it." I go, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I wish I could get one." And I just kind of look and smile. I go, "Yeah."
It's like, yeah, sorry, she's not knitting for commission.
Yeah. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I know that's one thing that I get a lot from people. It's like, oh, can you make me such and such? I'm like, no, because then that's making my hobby into a job. And I don't even put deadlines onto myself. And making stuff for people, they're going to want it at a certain time. That's going to put stress into everything. And it's just going to go downhill.
Yeah,
from
I don't believe in trying to have a deadline. I really try to have a goal. So it's, I mean, if you reach it, you reach it. If you don't, you don't.
No, it's like when I was making the Mudblood cardigan, and my goal was to get it done by Christmas, and I finished it Christmas Day, weaving and ends and everything.
Yeah, but that was
sewing on buttons.
That was a little stressful on you.
Well, not so much. I found it more fun than anything.
Yeah, okay, consider it a race.
Yeah, because I didn't have that much to do. It was just how much ribbing there was for the collar of it. I was more like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna end.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That was the only kind of maybe stressful part about it. Is just how much ribbing there was. But,
yeah.
Because I don't like knitting ribbing. Can I yarn bomb the house?
You yarn bomb the house.
Do you know what yarn bombing is?
The first thing that comes to mind is like throwing a toilet paper roll.
Well, kind of. It's, if you see some of the pictures on Facebook, I think I might have shared a couple, I can't remember.
Or is that like nailed onto the wall?
No, not really. It's when people take like knitted swatches or like pieces of fabric or crocheted fabric and like wrap them around like lampposts and things outside.
Okay,
That's yarn bombing.
Okay.
It's like graffiti, but yarn.
Depends on what you want to do that with.
I don't want to yarn bomb.
You don't want to.
It's too much, and depending, like, I think really the closest thing we get to yarn bombing something is just me making a crap ton of blankets and throwing them everywhere. Which I like blankets, but that's just me.
Yeah, yarn bomb all the cats.
I am getting to that part. The sweaters. Remember, the sweaters. I'm getting to that.
One down.
Yeah. and I got the body done for Bravo, so
Ooh, fun.
yeah. But, do you know the difference between knitting, crochet, spinning, and weaving?
Yes.
Can you give the definitions?
The definitions, no.
Or can you describe them? Like with knitting.
I can't describe them either. I know that there is a difference between every single one of them, though. I mean,
Okay, what's the main characteristic with knitting that you can identify it by?
hold 2 or more needles, which, with knitting you can also knit with 1 needle and a finger. So,
No, there's
well, no, I'm sorry.
there's arm knitting with the big chunky
Okay.
ones. That's what Olivia was wanting to do.
You can.
Yeah, you can
So
kind of do finger knitting.
So
Yeah.
technically, you don't have to have needles at all.
Yeah.
Which I mean, that's not how you.
But
how
generally,
you
you use at least 2 objects to create
Yeah.
stitch. And
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. For like.
what about
knitting.
like the distinct fabric? What about the distinct fabric of it? Can you like recognize? What about crochet?
It's hard for me to explain this.
I'm just trying to get like what is the general consensus that comes to mind when you think of it. You said with knitting.
Crocheting has a hook,
Yes. So.
which also you can use hooks for knitting. Well, like,
If picking up stitches, maybe.
Yeah, picking up
But
stitches. So.
I haven't found a use for using crochet hooks. I tend not to use crochet hooks when I'm picking up stitches. I tend to just use the needle and lots of cursing. So.
Yeah.
Spinning. That should be easy to kind of describe.
Riding a bicycle.
Technically, I mostly spin on a spindle, so
Okay, well.
it's just.
Then you got a spinny top.
What would you describe? How would you describe it to someone who's not crafty?
If I literally would have to describe it to somebody, I'd go, imagine Beyblades. Or Beyblades.
I don't know.
There was an old cartoon where it was like a little spinning disc that had blades on it, and you'd rip the cord out, and they'd spin. And I would describe it either like that or a little spinny top that hangs from the string that swirls the yarn. Imagine how rope is made.
Okay.
That's a better one. Imagine how rope is made.
And what about weaving? I don't weave, so it's probably not. That's one.
Yeah, that one I'm not.
Difficult.
I'm not even sure on.
Well, weaving, you have the loom, like the big loom, and it's
Okay.
more or less you're making a fabric, like the tapestry.
Oh,
and things like
okay,
that. That's weaving.
Okay. So
We don't have the space for a ginormous loom,
No.
so
Well,
maybe
hang
a
it from the
tabletop size probably, but
hang it from the ceiling and drop it down.
maybe.
That wouldn't be too bad.
What do you wish my hobby was if it wasn't knitting?
My hobby?
My hobby.
Oh, your hobby. I heard my hobby. I'm like, I'm sorry. My brain exploded because I was like, what is she talking about in the desert for? Question again, please.
What do you wish my hobby would be if it wasn't knitting?
I don't know. I mean, I would want you to have your own hobby that you got into yourself. I mean, I could never see in my mind forcing you to do another hobby. I mean, if I had to pick, working on the cars, my car hobby, tools, I don't know.
I would think that you would say something about like me getting back into music.
Well, you still have that as a hobby yourself. I mean, you just have to work yourself back into it.
Yeah. I played clarinet in junior high and high school and haven't touched it since high school, really.
Well,
I picked it up maybe like, once or twice when we
Yeah.
moved down here, but it's been quite a few years since I last played, so.
Well, it's how often do you listen to music?
quite a bit. Well, not as much as I used to.
Well,
But...
that's still a hobby, is listening to music. I mean,
Well, I'm more meaning of like playing instruments. Music.
Acting, yes, like doing it. Yeah.
Because I played clarinet for about going on like 10 plus years now. Well, not actively now, but I played bass clarinet senior year. That was pretty easy to pick up because all there is with the bass clarinet is an extra key.
Yeah, and it's jumbo sized.
Yeah. Just picture a saxophone and a clarinet had a baby, and that's a bass clarinet. It's that same shape. So.
Yeah.
And then I played the smallest bass drum in my senior year in indoor percussion, which watching a ton of videos of that the other day makes me miss it so much.
Yeah.
But I want to learn how to play guitar and piano. I somewhat started teaching myself how to play piano because the 1 year that I could have been in indoor, I think it was my 8th grade year, I was teaching myself how to play keyboard because I was wanting to do the keyboards on front, I think the marimba. And so I was teaching myself how, with the placement of the keys were to do that, but
I do have a guitar.
I want like an acoustic guitar though. I don't want to learn on electric.
Yeah, fair enough. The necks on the electrics and acoustic, they are a different size, different widths. Acoustic's a little bit easier to learn, but for me it was kind of cumbersome.
And then like I would say my other hobby that takes over my life other than knitting is reading.
Yeah.
I think my book library is bigger than my stash, so.
Yeah, especially to wait.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You never know how big your personal library is until you have to move, and then that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and I gotta carry it.
Let's see. Do I embarrass you when I knit in public or at family functions?
You already asked me that one.
Apparently it's another question like that. I realize that too. Well, it just says, does it annoy you? Embarrass and annoy is two different things.
I kind of put that in the same, but no, not even close.
Did it embarrass you when I first started doing it?
No, there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing about it that would be embarrassing to me. I mean, it's someone's hobby. It's something that somebody does. There's nothing embarrassing about it.
Well, for me, it's more like I'm the type of person that hates to be stared at. Yeah, I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah.
But when in public knitting, I hate it when people just sit there and deliberately stare at you.
Well, whenever.
And it's like, hello,
they're intrigued.
It's like if you have a question, you come up and ask me. Don't sit there like a creeper and stare.
Yeah, well,
it's like, do I need to call the cops and get a restraining order type of thing?
Well, it's for some people, they're too nervous to ask about it, and it's more intriguing to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, with Austin, he's very intrigued watching. Yes, he does. He has came out and asked questions about it, but he does enjoy watching.
Yeah.
But it's like this.
Well, it's one thing with having people that we know, because Austin's a friend that's staying with us right now.
Yeah.
It's one thing having people that I know ask me about it, but then like some random people who just come up to me. I've always been like the shy person. I'm not one to go really out to talk to people. If some people give off like a nice vibe and that they don't mind being talked to, yeah, I'll talk to them, but I tend to keep to myself a lot of the times.
Yeah, I look at it like this. I mean, just because somebody else has a different hobby than you shouldn't make it annoying, wrong, or embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean, be proud of the hobby that your significant other or friends or whoever is into. I mean, because even though it may not be something that you like or don't like, that's their hobby. That's something that they find interesting, and some people love it, some people don't. That's a personal choice.
Yeah.
But I love it.
What does your family think about all of this?
I think
just your train of thought that you just said.
I would think that some of my family think that she's got an ungodly amount of yarn, I guarantee you. Like, a room full, or...
A shelf in the closet.
Yeah.
Well, maybe 2 shelves in a closet, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, some think, oh, hey, I may be able to get something free out of this. Let me ask what I can get. I mean, sometimes it can get a little aggravating from time to time. So you have to politely tell them no.
Or
maybe.
You get me, I'm at that point and it's like, wait your turn.
Yeah.
Wait your turn.
You're down the line.
I'm first.
You're down the line a little bit.
Yeah.
It's you, husband, cat. No, sorry, it's me, husband, cats, you. No.
Let's see. What do I knit most of?
You go back and forth. You go back and forth from socks, hats, and sweaters. I mean, there's a time where you did knit quite a few sweaters. I'm putting sweaters and cardigans in the same realm. And well, actually, there was a good bit there. You did scarves, a lot of scarves.
I think that was when I really first started. I hate knitting scarves now. I'll turn them into cowls if I have to. I hate knitting scarves.
But I think the most thing that you're knitting now is socks.
No, not really.
Well, you did just end up knitting 4 hats.
Yeah,
recently.
Most of it, if you're looking at my Ravelry project page, I think majority of them may be hats.
Yeah.
Really, I think I only started knitting hats about 5 years ago. I think.
Yeah.
Is whenever we.
Well, the most of, or you knit the most?
Just ever since I started knitting hats, I only learned how to knit hats in 2014.
In general and everything.
I think in general, of all the things that I have on my project page.
I think we have more hats.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's more hats. I don't have my stuff listed by items. I have them listed by years, but
yeah.
Just all together since I've been knitting, I would think
a lot of hats.
Yeah, it will be hats.
You have a lot. You have quite a few socks though too.
A few. It's from here up is where all the socks are, but I would think it'd be hats. Definitely is the number one. All together since I've been knitting would be the most, but recently is I would say probably maybe sweaters because I've been working through the magazine and there's quite a few sweaters on there.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
Have you ever watched my podcast?
Yes.
How often?
Every time you upload one.
Dang it, now I can't surprise them with stuff. Maybe I shouldn't be look away now, look away now.
There's a couple times where there's some of them that I haven't watched, but most of them I have.
It's okay, at least I know one viewer.
And
Yeah. So.
And I'm thinking about making a couple more other pages just to get more likes. More views.
Do you know what these acronyms mean? WIP. WIP.
Nope.
I've talked about these multiple times. It's even right in front of your face on the screen. WIP. Work it out.
Work it out.
Work it out. Make it work. Tim Gunn.
I have no idea.
Work in progress.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The acronyms.
There's a lot of acronyms that I say sometimes too. You look at me and go, what?
Well, I kind of use them I use them kind of in daily talk sometimes too.
Not to me.
Sometimes I do.
Whip, good.
FO.
What you call me? No.
Finished object.
Okay.
First
opportunity.
KAL.
Knit something along. I don't know.
You got close.
I know. The first one's knit.
Knit along.
Knit along. Ah, okay.
You came close. UFO.
No idea.
Unfinished object.
See, these make sense after they're said. It's just kind of I don't know. I feel intelligent.
DPN.
Double point needles.
Yeah.
So I know that one.
Those are the only ones that they have listed, but Do you know? You should know what frogging is, right?
I remember you saying it recently, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's like frogging and ripping back.
Okay, so
Because what do frogs say? Rip it.
yeah,
So.
rip it. Yeah, rip it. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's stuck in my head again. I know tinking back is not really an acronym, but
Well, yeah, it's not an acronym. It's just like the lingo of what it is. Tinking is just going back stitch by stitch.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Should know what spindle is.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can think of. Do you know what a progress keeper is?
The little marker doodads.
The lobster claw?
The lobster claw doodads.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually there's one on the coffee table.
There is.
The Intel, yes. Would you like me to go get it for you?
Maybe later. I don't remember. And the last one is, what do you think of when you ask me to do something and I say one more row?
Say okay. It's the equivalent of me saying, "Okay, give me a second." I mean, when I'm playing a racing game, let me finish this lap. I mean, it's fine. Unless it's an emergency or something needs to be done like that second, then it needs to. That could be just dropped for a second. I understand there's counting involved.
Yeah.
But
I think it really just depends on like what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Because if it's something like simple where I'm just knitting the entire row, I can drop it within like a second. Or if I'm at like literally 5 stitches away from the end of the row, then I'm gonna finish that. So
yeah, which I mean, in the grand scheme, it's fine. It doesn't bother me.
Can you name off all the hobbies or things I have going on? Like what all I do? I'm just making up my own questions.
I was like, oh, you said that was the last question.
Yeah, I'm just making up my own questions.
Pop quiz! Knitting. You got a couple knitting things going on. You haven't started any crochet stuff.
Never.
Oh, you do have one?
I have 2.
You've got 2 going on.
Mm-hmm. The cat sweater for Bravo.
Oh, duh.
And then I have a hat that I'm making Bella.
Okay.
So.
You're cross stitching.
You don't have to name off how many projects that I have. I just way too many to.
Oh yeah, well, no, there's no chance I'm gonna remember that.
And like a lot of them, it's not actively being worked on. So.
Yeah. I just think I know like a couple ones you do have going on, or you have started, but you're doing like your planner stuff. That's always going to be ongoing.
Yeah, I've always been one for like planners and just writing in journals. Like ever since, I think even before I could read, I was scribbling in a journal.
Yeah, and TV shows.
Sometimes some TV shows. It really depends on the TV show.
Yeah.
Playing catch up with YouTube. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm caught up surprisingly, and I'm trying to find stuff to watch now.
I'm almost caught up with the Geeky Girls Knit. I think I have, like, the episode I'm watching now is the one from a week ago, and then their most recent one. Then I'll be up.
Really?
With them, yeah.
I thought you caught up on that a couple weeks ago.
Back in September, I was caught up with them, and then when everything, like, with the hurricane and everything happened, everything went to the wayside.
Makes sense.
So.
Understandable.
Then I had fallen down again the rabbit hole of makeup stuff, so I've been watching a lot of like makeup videos on YouTube. So
yeah, you name mine.
Guns, cars, and sometimes video games, depending on the game.
You missed one, which I know I missed a couple of yours. There's still an ongoing model airplane.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Still got to get paid for that. But, I don't know. I really wouldn't consider guns an ongoing hobby. I mean,
well, technically it is. It really depends if you like, since you like to do the research behind some of them.
Yeah, I do like the research behind them. Behind a lot of them, I kind of like more of a self-defense standpoint. But if push comes to shove, we need food. There's always that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I wouldn't really consider it a hobby because I think with a hobby you have to continuously buy things for quite a bit,
Yeah.
or be in the process like still doing it or in the middle of it. So I've kind of got what I want and have left it there. But definitely cars.
If there is one of the hobbies that I do that you're interested in picking up, which one would it be?
Truthfully, clarinet.
Really, like just learning how to play it.
Yeah.
I would like to learn how to get back to playing it.
Because it's super cool, but I don't have the lung capacity for it. I mean,
It's really something that you have to like build up over the
Yeah.
years. Because I probably don't have the lung capacity for it anymore either. It just takes a lot of like breathing exercises for it.
yeah.
That's just pretty much it. That, and you have to have control of your mouth to be able to make the notes.
Yeah, which is,
So.
I mean, that makes sense. There's a hobby that I wish I could get into, or get back into. What would it be that you want me to?
Probably just like your model stuff. Because I know, like, with me, like, especially last night, whenever I was listening to the audiobook and cross stitching, I kind of like lost track of time. I know that's how it is for you when it comes to the model. So
Yeah. I mean, I would like to do that, but I have to find another model store so I can get paint.
Yeah.
Well, heck, I don't want to buy the paint offline because then the paint,
Might
whenever
not
you
look
get
the
it,
same,
yeah, it wouldn't look the same. So I like to see it in person.
Yeah.
For me, I would really like to get back into paintball. I was in my prime physical state. Then I kind of got out of it.
I wouldn't mind learning how to weave. It's just a matter of actually getting
the equipment.
Yeah,
for it, yeah.
and we don't have the space for it right now, so.
Yeah. No, weaving, that does seem really cool.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it.
You sure?
Yeah,
Nothing else you want to ask me?
not at the moment.
Okay.
But watch, I'm gonna remember it when we turn the camera off. So. Okay. Well, thank you for being on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and I guess I'll get this edited later and make it seem comprehensive and fight with all the other bits and pieces that came before this one.
Yeah.
See you later. Bye.